any spirit people here, please? Big family kitchen.
Can you tell me your names, please?
Are you spirit people? I'm looking to find spirit people. But can you tell me why Right. Sit in the box if you Nice game. Is my dad here, please? Is my dad here, please? Who scratched the spiral on my floor? Who scratched the spirals around the fireplace? Why do spirals keep coming out everywhere? Why is there spirals everywhere? I don't get it. I know what it means, but John. John, is your name John, please? John. How many birds could you please? those pictures that have all those spirals in them that I can't work out. It's like my energy was welded with your That's really loud. Check what? Tell me what to check, and I'll check it. I never get any spirit feelings. I'll put you to watch CCTV anyway. When people want to see anything on CCTV, I have a Google Classroom where I send all my footage that I get via CCTV, etc., to my Google Classroom. That way it's a little more private. Shepherd's pie is on that now. Well, I've got some cream donuts, you know, guys. I have donuts. Green ones. No, they're not all of them. No, not all of them. Not all of them. Yeah, nice one. 200. It's always a pain. I don't like echo. That is correct. I'm trying to find the phone of the years. Where did she go? Where did I find that from? Bring that one more to talk to me, please. What? I wish I could understand. I can feel in my ears. I'm so quiet when you whisper in my ear. I can hear you, but through this box. Oh, it feels so good. That's the goodest one. Would you like an afternoon? What do you want? How much we want that? It's kind of wonderful, but I don't know. I at least want to share.
enjoys the experience nature is yours.
And the sweet coriander. I've got no other voices now. Well, my nan believed that the fairy stories, basically, through time, what happened was, um, so Aina, the goddess of fire, when Christianity came into play, Aina, the goddess of fire, was demoted to a fairy queen. And that was the same with various goddesses that started in Irish folklore, and they were seen as goddesses and worshipped. And then Christianity came into play, and they were no longer goddesses. They were wrote as fae people. Yeah, well, quite a lot. However, there's also the story of the Tuathas of the Elnon. The Tuathas of the Elnon are arrived in Ireland, and no one knows exactly where they came from. They arrived out of nowhere. They looked like we do. There was no difference, only that they seemed to have a lot of knowledge. They were quite pleasing to the eye, let's say. And back then, the people that lived there, they were quite small. And I don't want to say scraggly, but they were quite small and unkempt, let's say. So when the Tuatha De Danann came in, they looked like gods or goddesses to these people because they were so much taller. You know, their hair was very light with blue eyes. It's like the tails of the Nords, I guess, but just different. So when the Tuatha came into Ireland, that's what changed everything, because the Tuatha came in and with all their might and looking as gracious as what they did, and no one could understand where they'd come from. And then the people that were at Ireland at the time were just small and funny looking. So my nan said she believed that the myth came from somewhere like that, is that these other people came to Ireland, and I guess they both saw each other as very different people, and that caused some different myths and legends to grow from it. And some were probably more or less accurate, but over time, obviously, it's like Chinese whispers. Things just change, and things are added in and things are taken out. It's like the dragons, you know. Now, if you actually research dragons, believe it or not, there's more evidence now suggesting that dragons were prehistoric creatures that have just literally been glorified in movies and books. So the water dragons may have been some sort of prehistoric lizard type thing that was in the water and it was glorified. The dragon that they depict with wings was probably some sort of prehistoric bird that they glorified. It's iffy, but at the same time, I could understand that a lot more than just saying that they were just there, you know, because like the Welsh dragon, they have the red dragon on their flag, don't they? The reason they have that is because obviously King Lud, he had issues with this red dragon fighting the. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Anyway, the red dragon, the white dragon were fighting. The red dragon would cause miscarriages and animals to die. King Lud went to, I think it was his sibling, and he got him to come over from France and sort out the dragons and basically tame them. They put them in a pit in the centre of England. And when later on, I think it was King Volcra, something like that was called, when he came, because the Saxons had pushed them further that way. They were Britons, as in Britons, the Britons, and they got pushed into Wales by the Saxons. And he tried to build the castle right where they had the pit with the dragons in. Anyway, it wouldn't build because the walls kept falling down because the dragons were in the pit. And
his loyal servants told him that he must sacrifice a very poor boy from a poor family with no, he didn't have a dad and he was in a poor village with a poor family. He needed to be sacrificed in order to build his castle, obviously. They went out, they got this poor boy, they were going to sacrifice, and he said, no, it's because there's two dragons underneath the ground that King Lud put in there. And he decided to release the dragons. So he released the dragons and he said, because upon releasing them, the red dragon instantly killed the white dragon. I'd like to see them. I bet they're good. Maybe. I don't know though. I'd still look. And when the red dragon killed the white dragon, it then was said to take to the skies and disappear. That's why there's a red dragon on the Welsh flag. It's an interesting story. And then the king would go on and say how the red dragon represented the people of Britain and the white dragon was the Saxons, and it showed how the Saxons would be defeated. And it's believed that even though pushed further to Wales and Cornwall, they never truly defeated them, not truly anyway. But that's where the Welsh dragon comes from. It's about this epic fight between a red dragon and a white dragon that, yeah, really interesting, to be fair. But I don't know if... I know Tuatha De Danann are Irish myth. The son of Dagda. Dagda was the leader of the Tuatha De Danann. The son of Dagda was Duan. Some called him Duan, some called him Boan. It changes through time, but he was a Sihi. And apparently he had the ability to reanimate corpses. Can you imagine that? It was the Irish god of fatal love, apparently, Sam. The Irish god of fatal love. Goes by many names. Ingus, Oangus, Angus, Mc, or Iengus. Those are the names like it goes for. And then there's Eathethrees, which means upper air, and that's obviously mythology. It's a nymph, but it's from classical Greece and Rome. When Poseidon died, Hesiod was the brother of Poseidon. And then she had 7 sisters, I believed, and they were apparently transformed into a weeping tree, collectively known as the Daughters of Sol or Helios. The handsome one. Yes. Son of Dagda. Ah, yes. Yes. I know. What shit, yeah. Fantastic. There's some right places in Ireland. Really good myths as well. Erythra, one of the 3,000 daughters of the Titans and the oceans, obviously, and the Tethys. It means bright sky, referred to the wife of Atlas and the mother of Pleiades, and the half-sister of Hyades. Interesting family lines. But you see, I always believe they come from somewhere, these stories. They don't just, There's the queen, the fairy queen of Munster. And her name means burning with fire. And she was called a few names. She was called Evel, Ibel, she was called Abim, Aval. No matter what. I guess I'm talking about you a lot. And it was said that she would hold a midnight court to determine where the husbands were meeting their wives' needs. Imagine that. Their sexual needs, might I add. See, I love that though. I think that's brilliant. I kind of had that with my nan. I've been conditioned in a way, I suppose, from a very young age, and I always try and explain that to people. Like, imagine growing up and not being held back on it, like you just let free. Your imagination's allowed to run free. You see these things and you're encouraged. You're encouraged to, and I guess that's part of it is part of the mystery of the mind. And I think so. I think some of it may lie in conditioning from when we're younger. I'm not sure, but it's just a theory. It's hard to work out. So the men that were lady and prudish, this fairy queen of Ireland, by the way, she would hear both sides of the case before she ruled, but she would always make a point that the husband was seeing to his wife's sexual needs. The ancestral mother of the O'Brien clan, Eval, served as their banshee, and she oversaw at least, it says, more than a dozen additional families. Her personal adversary was the sea nymph, Didna, who was turned into a white cat. At Killaloe in East Clare County, Clare, Clare, there's a mound or a fairy fort that was said to belong to her, and a nearby well called Toberevel, the Well of Evil. And it comes from a crag known as Cragan Evil, Rock of Evil. In recent years, the residents of, I think it's called Inchiquin Lake in the southwest region of Munster, claim to have seen her. She tends to appear, and it means that death is on the way when she does appear. So she's the old tale of the banshee. She just doesn't scream or anything. There's none of that involved. She's not screaming in your ear oils. I remember my friend. I had a friend, and I'm not sure if it was a nightmare or something, because these are really not well-known stories from our parts, like not banshees anyway. Not saying there is none, I'm just saying they're not as well known. And I remember, I think, how old were we? Oh, we were only, she must have been about 8. And she came next day, right? She came running across the lawn and she's like, Claire, that screaming at banshees at my window again last night. What the hell have you been dreaming? And I didn't believe it, because I was like, there's going to be a banshee, I'm going to see it before you're going to see it. It was a bit like that. Well, I don't know. It was just funny at the time, definitely. Believe it or not, there's actually a lot of nature spirits as well in Africa. But but in Africa, they are kind of left to their own device. There is one that they will sacrifice goats to, but most of them are left to their own device. And there is a belief that yes, right. Well, that's, you see, there's a different story that I was told regarding that. Wasn't evil at all in the Queen of Fae, Queen Mab. Apparently the rock is left there if you ask her to grant you a wish. So I was told. Not that she is evil and going to devour our soul or anything like that, but hey ho. There is the Greek mythical type of nymph, the offspring of the ancient sea god. Porois, half bird and half woman, yet classed as a siren. The ones that were first seen upon the rocks, that would sit on the rocks with their sisters, and lure sailors in by singing. Of course, they would then devour them alive, devour the men inside out alive. But at first, they were actually kind of like siren fae in Greek myth, a type of nymph, but yet they were half bird, half female. Where obviously it changed. Yes, yes, that's right. But no, I was I was never ever told that like they were evil. But I suppose I mean there's good and bad in everything anyway, you know. Um, the Old Norse poems by Poetic Edda, AD 985. They've got quite a few fae poems in that. Very odd poems, but still poems about the fae. The old Nordic poet. But there's also the Celtic. It's like a Celtic. I wouldn't say Bible, let's just call it, but it's like a Celtic dictionary, I suppose, of all the various Celtic fae. You're talking some random from stuff, no. The Brownie of Blenloch, that's Scottish, was actually called Aikendrum. Aikendrum. He was wrote about by, who was it? William Nicholson, the Brownie of Blenloch. Yeah, I think, yeah. Dumfries Magazine, 1825. Completely different name to what you would expect now, because now they're just called brownies, but this was called the Aikendrum. Interesting. The Iberhioch, Irish myth, the ancient fire goddess, later was demoted to the fairy queen of Donegal after Christianity was introduced. A white stone can be offered to her fire well. That's the one that I was talking about. Nothing about like eating us or anything like that, but you know. And then there's Ine, the Irish goddess of fertility. She was originally, again, Christianity came in, and then she was demoted to a Tuatha De Danann daughter and a Sihi. But before that, she was a goddess. My theory on that is, well, one of its own, let me say, probably one of its own, because I do believe that, yes, the salmon of knowledge. Yep. I do believe that, as much as I do believe that Jesus existed and I do have love for Jesus and what he brought to the earth, I believe that a lot of the writings are definitely man-made writings. I believe that goddesses in their power were demoted because the last thing the men were going to want was the women feeling empowered. I guess at that time, anyway, things have changed now, but I'm talking back then. It would have made more sense for him to do that. It's like the story of Inanna. You know, like everybody sees Inanna as the whore of Babylon, whatever you want to call her. Okay. Now, I have a different story on Inanna altogether from what people keep saying. I was told that Inanna, being a beautiful woman, a goddess, or whatever you want to call her, she was chained and was made to perform for men. Obviously, not the same as what is done today, but a similar sort of thing. She was fed up of being confined to the chains and having to perform for men just to keep her jewels and luxuries or whatever in the castle, palace, wherever she was in. And eventually she broke those binds, she broke those chains, and she took all her clothes off and walked and just walked. Now, when she was walking, she began to cry. Obviously, she was quite traumatized, realizing that she was finally free. She ended up becoming quite muddy and looking quite dishevelled and a mess. So when the townspeople came upon her looking like that, they instantly thought she was not right. And when the men caught up to her that she was meant to stay with them, was bound to, that's when they called her a whore because she broke chains. And apparently, so it's said, that the merfolk from the sea came and took Inanna. Now, that means they killed her, they stoned her to death, and obviously they came and took her body, but she was never actually a whore. She was just bound to these people, and she broke her chains, so then was called an whore. Yeah, I had geese. They were really good guard dogs, actually. I had 2 geese. In fact, they were better than guard dogs. They really were. It's like the story of the first dragon, the Leviathan story. If anybody knows who Leviathan it actually really is. Leviathan is a sea dragon that was created by the gods. They created Leviathan to keep the balance of the seas because the sea is the water of all life. It sustains life. And the gods believed that there had to be balance in this sea. So they created Leviathan, and Leviathan would hunt on the gods' wishes. The gods would tell Leviathan to go take out particular people, and Leviathan would do as he was told. As time went on, Leviathan maybe he got greedy, maybe he got who knows, but he started to hunt on his own, and quite enjoyed tormenting people. Now the gods saw this as a favour to them because when people were then traveling, and bear in mind back then the sea was used for a lot. It was used for transporting goods, for fishing, it was used for so much. So the people began to pray to the gods for safe passage. So they saw this in their favour. However, Leviathan could not be controlled after this point, so they decided that they'd set a trap up for Leviathan. And as Leviathan came to the top of the waves, thinking he was going to attack a boat, from the sky came a chain that locked around Leviathan's neck, and he couldn't remove it because it could only be removed by the gods. And he was taken to the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean, where he was chained. And some years went by. The gods got into an argument because, again, what happened? Mankind decided to take everything for granted and unbalanced the sea. They unbalanced the good and the bad. So an argument ensued. The gods were like, yeah, let's free Leviathan. The other half were like, no, let's not. And they ended up arguing, and while they were arguing, one of the gods thought, I'm just going to free Leviathan. And that's exactly what he did. Leviathan devoured him instantly. Therefore, devouring the god in front of the chain of gods broke that bind in which they had control over him. They could no longer now call to him, make him do, or feel him in the ocean. Leviathan actually took to this well because he decided not to hunt as greedily, and he took to the depths of the ocean. And it is believed that somewhere in the ocean, Leviathan still roams. And when you hear of shipwrecks, when you hear of ships going missing or people on boats disappearing, it's believed that Leviathan was having a temper tantrum. And that's where they ended up. But the story goes that Leviathan learnt that you couldn't trust the gods because the gods made him greedy by making him hunt, and then they took that hunt away from him. But he couldn't trust the humans either because they were only kind to him when they felt necessary. So in the end, he cut the binds and did one on his own, basically. And that's the real Leviathan. And there's people that do worship Leviathan, and people think that these people are worshipping something else. But actually, what they're worshipping is just a mythological creature created by the gods and said to be the first dragon ever in myth, Leviathan. And after that was a really crazy story of Musu. And Musu is, I don't think it even exists this area, but the dragon Musu was the second dragon in mythology, and it was believed that he was like the right hand of a clergyman or a church and monastery type deal. And a priest happened to be visiting past this small town, and when he did, he argued with the council that there is no way a dragon can be so involved in worshipping gods and this, that, and the other, or whatever it were back then. Well, he ended up killing the dragon, but there was no big battle. He just poisoned the dragon, basically, and the dragon died. And it was said that this dragon in particular was actually quite a small dragon. And you know, it's weird because even in George and the Dragon, yeah, and the Dragon of Locksley, even when you look at the Dragon of Locksley and St. George and the Dragon, there is one thing that I noticed: poison from its mouth. I'm not going to bet. Did you hear that, Claire Bed? Poison from the dragon's mouth. Now, if you think about it, Komodo dragons do that. They have poison in their mouth, don't they? So yeah, interesting. Although, of course, Locksley did die. He caused the dragon not to regenerate, but he did die, and he's at Nunnington Church. He's buried there next to his dog. You can go read about it in Nunnington. It's on plaque. But yes, the Dragon of Locksley. Locksley. It's spelled right weird. There's actually quite a few Yorkshire dragons. They just don't look like dragons. And then there's the monastery built. This is way back though. What would be, I suppose, Antarctic now kind of area. It was, I forgot what the name they gave it then. There was a monastery, and these monks that ran the monastery, they were all claiming that they saw dragons, colourful dragons in the sky, as a sign of an omen. And, well, it was only a few hours later that the Vikings turned up and plundered them and stole their sacred things and burnt down the monastery and killed every single one of them. So my theory on that is, yes, monks, you probably saw these colourful things flapping in the air. They were probably the sails from the Viking boats. They were probably the mass of the Viking boats. And then obviously their longships had dragon heads on the front of them because that was their way of installing fear and saying we're on our way, was these big dragon heads at front of the boat. So it would make logical sense that the monks would see this and think they were freaking dragons. When really, they're looking at the front of a longship and the masses, sails, all the colours. And they're running around like, we saw dragons! No, you saw the freaking Vikings. So you saw. Just a theory, like, but yeah. Would make more sense, wouldn't it? Imagine monks running around, dragons! It just wouldn't happen these days. Oh. But yeah, I believe our minds are incredible. And it's your mind, said mine.
You're fake, you.
You're fake. Yep. They are talking some crap. Because I'm talking about them, so. I just find it interesting how you can relate some of these stories to actual proper factual things. I didn't just have 2 geese, I had ducks as well. The ducks were even better than the geese. Followed me everywhere, they did. Won't leave me alone. They knew. The minute I came out and they heard my voice, that was it. They were around me. I suppose I best try and get some sleep. As a rule, that's what you're meant to do on a night. I just wanted to test a live out. I've not done one for a while, and I couldn't sleep, so I figured, hey ho, I'll just do this. I also found something interesting, Sam. I don't know if you're interested in this stuff, like, but you can do a parapsychology course on how to debunk things professionally and how to do all your basic, I guess it's tips and advice on how you would do all your ground setting before investigating. And it's a parapsychology course. Get a certificate and everything afterwards too. I thought it was interesting. I've not taken it myself because it's not something that I do. I prefer country. Absolutely prefer the countryside, and I can't do city. I can't do people. I can't do people. Seriously. I cannot do people. I can do them for so long. I'm just like, Oh, also, I just wanted to let you know if you are easily offended, I'll share. I'll find it, Sam. I'll find it because I know that I saw it and you were the only person that actually came to mind regarding that course because I believe you would actually take it quite good. You know, like you'd be quite good at it because you would listen to advice and you'd use it, I think. Most people just like, they look at stuff like that, they flash through it and they don't actually take it in, which really doesn't do them any benefit. But I'll definitely find it and send you a link. I'll do that tomorrow when I drag my arse out of bed. If you're easily offended, I'm going to tell you now. The police never leave this. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of that, but if you're easily offended, guys, I'm going to just explain that soon there will be an upload. And that's the idea of the ramblings of a mad witch, is where I express things quite openly, and I am very opinionated anyway. But the title will be, if you're easily offended, then I'm really sorry. Empowering your pussy. Yeah. So I would watch out for that one. And if you're easily offended and don't like talking about vaginas, then please don't listen. Because it's interesting to say the least. Definitely empowering, but definitely interesting what I have to say. Pussy power. Sorry, shut up, Claire. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys. I truly appreciate it. It's nice to just sort of it's nice to just sort of hang out, you know, and just chill while I'm recovering. It's kind of nice. So yeah, I'll definitely find it you tomorrow, Sam, and I will send it you. Thank you all. Sending much love and light. Anyone else who sees this who wants to pop their link in the description for other people to find, because it will be shared out and stuff. I don't mind. Pop your channel link in. No, there's no pictures. It's not like that. Pop your channel link in and let others see it. I don't mind at all. It's not a bother whatsoever. So I shall see you all next time. Like I say, if you're wanting something funny and upbeat, definitely start listening to those when I upload them, Ramblings of a Mad Witch, because they're going to be quite hilarious, I can assure you. Love and light, guys. Love and light. Night.